London. Now this weekend I'm going to be actually doing the pre-show for Jinx TV of the Overwatch Open by E-League and Face It. I'm going to be doing the pre-show for that on Saturday and Sunday. So that's kind of exciting. It's actually my first time working in esports outside of StarCraft 2. So that's a pretty cool opportunity, looking forward to it. We'll be still focusing on bringing you guys lots of content though, and I'll be working hard over the weekend as well to continue plans. There's a lot of stuff I can't tell you about just yet, guys, but a lot of great things are coming, so working hard on all of that. What was the song? It was Elephant by Tame Impala. And I guess we should also introduce our players. We kick things off in the top left side of the map. The blue Terran player is going to be GuMiho. And his opponent to the upper right hand side, that's going to be our red Zerg player from #OnFire from Expert Gaming. It is Bly. What's up, Lib75 as well, who cheers 500 and says, "What's up, bananas?" Decides to call you all bananas every single day. No one seems to complain though, so you're obviously all very accepting of the fact that you are bananas as we go into this best of 3 series. Obviously, Bly played very aggressively in that first series of the day against Neeb. 3 games in a row where he obviously went for the same build order in the first 2 games, the very fast gas pool, Ling Flood playstyle. Game number 3, he did change things up with the proxy hatch, and it looked to be going sort of okay. But as with so many of those build orders, sometimes you just have to get yourself a chance to kill your opponent, rather than just putting him into what would seem to be a bad spot, because you yourself are giving up a lot, and putting yourself very vulnerable to things, because of the way in which you open. Come on, GuMiho, says Mr. Cunley in the chat. StarCraft Hype says StarCraft 2 player 100. Hi guys, what's up, Bacon StarCraft as well. Hello, BaneBus2. Everyone's saying hello. Good to see. Always like it when we got a nice active chat. As we kick things off into this next series, we have just seen a very standard hatch gas pool opening. And actually, we're not going to see the double racks 2-on-1 stim push from GuMiho. We're going to be seeing him going into a factory-based opening, which is fun. It's different. We don't see many of these nowadays compared to the 2-1-1s, so it's nice to see this factory going to be coming in instead to start us off a little bit differently in this TvZ. It might even just be a fast 3cc, currently on 1 gas. They're going to be a very sort of heart of the swarm sort of build order here, where you start up a couple Hellions. He's actually going to build a Reaper. I was going to say maybe a Tech Lab now onto the barracks, but no, it's going to be a Reaper. And just a couple of Hellions coming out here early. Bly's going to go into his classic build order here for the ZVT. While it wasn't 1 base early aggression or anything like that, he is going to go into this very fast lair. Did you see a star put coming down from GuMiho? Again, only 1 gas though, so there's really kind of minimal how much he can commit into here. You know, we're probably expecting to see him maybe build a Viking or a Medivac, but not much more than that. Even a Liberator is going to be a bit of a stretch here in terms of what he can afford, because he only has 1 gas of income, and he's going to have a Tech Lab building now as well on that barracks, which is another 25 gas gone, but also every build on that Tech Lab is going to cost gas as well. So it really does look as though GuMiho, still in some extent, still in some ways, I mean, what's he actually going to go for? He's going to go Medvac, then drop an armory and go for like a Hellbat attack? Well, Bly, he's showing us what he wants to do. Nidus Network on the way down in the natural expansion. Reaper Grenades coming in here as well. Again, it's interesting that he actually added them that second Reaper. He's going to go for a single Cloakless Banshee. Okay, so that's going to be our game plan from GuMiho. Bly goes into this very aggressive Nidus Network. So when you see him going into this fast lair, there's always 2 things you're expecting to see. It's either going to be the fast Spire, or it's going to be the fast Nidus. And he sees the lair now, so he gets a very good initial read as to it's going to be one of these 2 build orders. Question now becomes, is he going to have enough in time? He moves a factory onto the Tech Lab. He has his bracks onto the reactor. Problem is though, this is a great opening for Bly against what GuMiho has done, because 6 Hellions, they don't do anything at all to really help out against Roaches and Queens popping up out of that Nidus Network. Be interesting to see what exactly Bly actually leaves at home to defend from those Hellions. If he leaves anything at home at all, Queens will pop out, of course, to start getting ready to transfuse. He actually gets a lot of Lings coming out here already. And actually, the Ling's not a bad choice. He's going to come in, he's going to force a cancel on those bunkers at least. Just because there's only a Banshee really for defense here initially, the Lings are going to work out very nicely there. The Hellions do come back, so the Ling's not going to be as great anymore. But there should be some Roaches. Where are the Roaches from Bly? Very late to join the party here. Of course, the Queens, very good against the Banshee, especially against the fact it's cloakless. It means it just gets taken down eventually anyways. We'll see the bunker does come up, and SCVs will be pulled in to defend it. I mean, at the same time, the SCVs just get targeted down, and so is only going to last for so long. Hellion's still trying to fight here as well. GuMiho will move back in towards his other bunker. Siege tank will take damage though. That tank going down is really, really painful. Not having a medevac for that tank is really going to cost him a lot here. Oh, it gets very low. It doesn't go down yet. The queen comes over to the side. Get that siege tank. It's on 1 HP. GuMiho keeps it alive. That's so important. He dives for it with the Zerglings. He gets a shot, but it doesn't work. The repair is going to be enough. The siege tank stays alive. GuMiho will defend initially, although more roaches are coming out. Can he defend wave 2 of this? Those SCVs continue to repair up that tank. That's so important here. Tech lab will go down on the factory. The starport as well will lose a tech lab. That's very important, actually, getting rid of further tank production, further banshee production too, because the queens have gone down here initially, and on only 2 hatcheries, queens don't reproduce as quickly as you might like. SCVs pulled into this. Tank will siege once more, as the roaches will want to try and focus that down as a priority here. SCVs get on to surround it, and will it go down? It does just fall, but not before a lot of damage is done. More roaches out in the main base. That bunker with Marines inside is a big source of damage right here, as GuMiho is still running around with a lot of SCVs, looking to see what he can do. Marine to the left-hand side doing some damage on an overseer. Lings will start to stream into the natural expansion, and into the natural expansion we go. A lot of damage being done by Bly, but he has to do a lot. There's a 3rd command center at the front, and with a 3rd CC at the front, it means that the SCV rebuild will be quick, and so you have to really get damage done here as the Zerg player to make this worthwhile, and I don't know if he's getting enough done. 15 more workers. He's only down by 12 SCVs with triple mule in the game. With triple mule, with triple SCV production, I mean 12 worker difference. That's only about what? I mean, a minute of SCV build time on the command center is a little bit longer. And of course, I mean, you already have kind of 10 worker advantage from the mules as well, so this is definitely still in contention here, as we actually see GuMiho feeling a bit braver, starting to fight those units towards the Nidus network outside of his bunker. Another Banshee on the way up, which isn't actually that bad of a decision, because he saw that he kind of killed off some, he saw he was killing off a good amount of queens before. And so if there was, still queens struggling to come out here, another Banshee could have worked a world of, could have done a lot. As we see GuMiho going to pull down to the low ground here. He will protect this depot, as these roaches will come forward. They get another SCV, picking off Marines as well. 3 roaches, the magic number. Actually, see the units all collecting together on the low ground. Ravager will more funny on the low health roach. GuMiho still having to try and defend this here. He still has that bunker in position. This Banshee now out. Will come towards the natural expansion to help out here. We'll start to chase this queen away. That Ravager walks right into its death. That's not a good trade. I mean, Bly has to make the most of every unit he has right now. It is one of those games where absolutely everything, it'll just come down to absolutely everything. Bunker in the main will fall now, though, as GuMiho is not in position to repair it. He's not in position to fight with his entire army against it. Queen's starting to get energy for transfusers as well, which is scary. Transfusers coming in is just so much extra health on those units, but a good number of Marines. The DPS is high, and he pushes in. He's going to get rid of one queen. He's looking for another queen kill here as well. Banshee on the low ground, getting rid of that Nidus network too. Another tank pops out, and it's not going to bother sieging, not just yet. Now it will, as those units pull away. He's got a medevac as well, and with a tankovac out, that's something we've not seen yet in this game. With a tankovac, he can chase a lot more easily. He can pull away a lot more easily. As we're going to be seeing those roaches pushed all the way to the side of this main base. Nidus starting to go down. This is the end of Bly's aggression. He'll pull forwards for one attack. Here we go. Banshee will come in from the back, as he'll use this Banshee to get rid of the queen, and then the Banshee can just work its way against the roaches as it wishes. GuMiho will have to find a place for this tank, but he will eventually clean these roaches up. And none of Nidus on the low ground. Tank has to pick back up. It's not the best defense actually so far from GuMiho. He's still taking a lot of damage here, despite having that tank back up, and another 8 workers going down. He lost all those Marines as well. The tank was actually up in the skies and not fighting for a long time, which definitely could have made the difference there. As we see, medevac has to stay nearby, has to lift that tank, cannot let that fall. It's the most important thing for him in this game. This tank evac is so important. It's gonna go down though. Another siege tank building, but even just a few seconds here without a siege tank out could be costly. Banshee is here, but it's doing so much damage, but it just takes a while to get through when this many roaches. Marines here helping out with damage as well. Another Liberator on the way out. A queen comes out. Banshee will begin to fight the queen, knowing here that he just has to get rid of that anti-air. Another tank sieges up. That queen will win the fight over here. Will pull back. Will want to get repaired, of course. Will want to try and stay alive against any extra queens coming in. Mules drop into the low ground as that Nidus network continues to be shelled away at. A Liberator coming out as well. He will position that Liberator up in towards the main base, apparently, on top of that incoming Nidus network. As we see, this Nidus gets taken down as well. Back at home, Bly still only on 29 workers, but it's 15 SCVs from GuMiho now. He's been struggling to rebuild those workers, because every time he starts to, it just doesn't go too well for him. I like this. Not actually targeting down the Nidus network initially seems like not too bad of an idea, because it means that units come out and they just start to run into their devs. As we're going to be seeing the Marines continue to fight here. Scan will pick off some of the creep spread as well. The Nidus goes down. Oh, he's a little bit out of range of that final creep tumor, but I'm not sure if that's really going to be a major issue here, unless he does allow it to keep on spreading. As we're going to be seeing the Marine just going to be moving in. He's going to try and friendly fire down the Marine. Oh, it's a cute idea, but he's just not quite got the range right on it. As we're going to be seeing another Marine moving forward. As you can see, it's a good idea, but it's just not quite in the right position, unfortunately. He has to scan for it instead. GuMiho, it's a cute move, but doesn't pay off for him. Never Nidus into the natural lane. GuMiho should see this. He's a little bit slow to move into position. He'll start moving over there now. Does pull his SCVs away immediately. As Bly goes for, maybe even, you could at this point maybe call it one last attempt. Another tank on the way up. Right here, Marines here as well. Currently wielding their way through the unbuildable rocks. As here we go, Marines will start pulling back to the safety of the siege tank. Nidus will move in towards the main base now. As we'll see Bly continue pressure. A couple of drones going down. Oh, the Liberator moving across the map. Didn't actually think about that one. So Liberator goes across the map. As we see that Nidus in the main gets taken down very swiftly, very easily indeed. And, well, the Liberator is actually currently cancelling units from building, so that's really nice as well. Bly getting kind of a bunch of his units picked off here before they even get to do anything. Sometimes before they're even being made. As we're going to see tanks dropping down. 2 tanks now, so much more powerful than what we've seen previously. Overlord goes down, so Bly is losing that vision, which he's had so far to keep him going in this game as tanks continue to work their way through those roaches. So much damage being done here as the Zerglings run on forwards. The roaches will continue to fall as well. Marines continue to fight. GG is called. Bly taps out. And GuMiho is going to take game number 1 of this best of 3. This is a map where Bly, obviously, his playstyle maybe lags a little bit because it is that macro-focused map. But there is builds he can do here. Maybe he throws another Nidus all in out. Actually, if you guys remember the Leifeng, was it Leifeng Cup? Pult versus Bly. It's on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/STImprove. Go watch Pult Bly. I think it was game 2. It's on New Gettysburg. Incredible 35-minute game. Nidus all in. Pult falls stupidly behind. Comes back. Stays in the game. It is a great game. Really worth watching. So, it's a map which Bly isn't afraid to be aggressive on again. Whether it's a Nidus all in twice in a row, or whether this time he maybe goes into that 2-base Spire play, because it is close by air positions here on New Gettysburg, that's also going to become a possibility. We kick off to the bottom right-hand side of the map is going to be the Red Terran player from Team MVP, and our GSL quarterfinalist, GuMiho. And down to the bottom left, of course, it's the Blue Zerg player from #OnFire representing Expert Gaming as well. It is Bly. As we kick off into this game number 2. I see that Rax currently building over on the right-hand side of the map, alongside a hatch gas pool of Bly here in the very early stages. So after coming down onto the natural expansion, we see Overlord, or 2, just moving out onto the map. There's a couple of Overlords moving on the map. Nothing crazy here super early in the game. We're not seeing a proxy hatchery, for example. I actually wonder what exact build order GuMiho is going to opt for. I wonder if he just plays it safe, playing against Bly, and just says, well, you know what, I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to do some sort of, maybe like a Widowmine drop into like a tank evac play, so that he can stay very safe in the early stages against the aggressive players of Bly, so that he can just keep on defending throughout the game. I think that's something we might see GuMiho doing for himself here in the near future. Again, there's the factory-based openings. He's not going to go for the second racks at least, so it's going to be a factory. He's actually got a tech lab coming down on this barracks. This time it is going to be double gas from him, so he's going to commit a little bit more heavily to the tech on this 1-1-1 setup. We definitely will be seeing that starport coming down. I see the links coming in. Ooh, GuMiho mistakes. And he loses his Reaper very early on. That's a very uncharacteristic mistake from any top-level Terran player. Losing a Reaper like that is something you just shouldn't see happening. GuMiho letting his concentration lapse there for a second. Look at this. He's actually going to open up with a Cyclone. How often do you see a Cyclone as an opening here in the TvZ? In fact, I don't even think I've ever seen a TvZ Cyclone expand build order. Can anyone think of when you last saw a Cyclone expand in TvZ? I've seen it a little bit in TvP lately, but in TvZ it really is kind of the opposite of what you're expecting. This SCV has to pull away, currently a couple of links chasing that down as the orbital morphs in on the natural expansion. I mean, Bly sees it's a tech lab factory, and I mean, he'll very soon here get the confirmation that it is indeed a Cyclone, because the only unit that's coming out. Second factory building, so we're going to see committed mech play out of GuMiho. Okay then, off and away we go on New Gettysburg. Committed mech opening. Bly with the very fast lair once again. 2 base lair, currently only 2 gases taken. Is this a Nihilus once more, or is it going to be something a little bit different? Is it going to be that Spire coming down? He's very close to 200 gas if that's what he wants to go for. Spire would line up quite nicely here, and I do think it's actually going to be what we see. I don't think Bly is really set up to go into a Nidus network or anything along those lines. There we go, Spire coming in, but look at this, Macfield Accelerator. He's genuinely going to commit to these Cyclones, Hellion Cyclone, in the early stages of this game. So it's going to be committing into Hellion Cyclone early on. Macfield Accelerator going to allow these Cyclones to lock on, and I mean, actually now all of a sudden the mutas don't seem like too great a choice at all. The Cyclones may struggle a little bit here against these Zerglings. As 2 Hellions come out, they will help to push this back. SCV's having to be pulled as well. Obviously, the early stages of this game is a little bit tricky for GuMiho because he doesn't have a lot of units straight away to deal with kind of heavy numbers of Zerglings. But now the double Cyclone is out, and again, Macfield Accelerator coming up, increasing that damage done by the lock-on. I'm just going to be seeing this Overlord actually going to get caught there as well. So Overlord is going to be caught. I'm just going to be seeing these couple of Cyclones moving on the map. Again, the mutas are just going to get caught by Cyclones. You know, if they lock on to the Mutalisks, then the mutas are going to die very quickly. And of course, these Cyclones have the speed to kite as much as they need to. As you're going to see the Cyclones just pulling back over to the right-hand side. These games today, guys, are being played on the NA server. Obviously, for the Korean versus Korean matches, we'll move back to the Korean server. But these are played on NA Central, so the latency from both players should be fairly even. Obviously, one player might have a little bit of a latency advantage, but it should be more or less even. It should be fairer than anything else. As we see Hellions and Cyclones pulling down over to the left-hand side. Getting set up, looking to see what they can do here. A couple of Cyclones do lock on. Doing a little bit of damage to that Overlord. Going to take that down as well. So that Overlord does fall. Another supply block now from Bly as his mutas start to come up, but with 4 Cyclones and so many Hellions coming across the map, he locks on, and all of a sudden this hatchery is just going to be dying. Third base, well, not for long. Third base gets cancelled here by Bly, and that means that, well, it's sort of weird, because how does he even fight into this? The Cyclones need to lock onto the mutas, which they don't actually do here, so it's actually a good fight initially from Bly. Coming on in, GuMiho had to get those lock-ons onto the Mutalisks, and that's not what happened. He locked onto Zerglings, he got surrounded. Now the Mutas will get rid of those Cyclones, they can chase the Hellions down. Bly takes a good fight against this as he begins to move over to the right-hand side of the map, chasing those Hellions. 7 drones coming up behind this, a Roach Roaring as well, as we see Bly begin to transition into what will likely be a very big Roach timing with maybe 1-1 upgrades. Maybe even just with Roach speed if he's feeling very aggressive. Let's see the mutas dive in. There's no turrets here yet in the natural expansion, so guess what? As the Cyclone falls, GuMiho just doesn't have any anti-air at all. He's going to type out GG. And that is going to be Bly taking game number 2 and tying up this series from players to take part in it as well. I know pretty much all the Europeans are more or less interested. I mean, a $600 event where you only have to commit 2 days, right? Because you show up, you play on your group stage, which is a couple of hours, and then you play on your, then you play the playoffs as well, which is, obviously if you've already made it to playoffs, then the second day isn't as much of a commitment, and you only have to win 1 series in the playoffs to actually get into the money. So it's a very nice format. It's very low commitment, with no qualifiers or anything. It's very low commitment, and so that's why we see such a great lineup of players here in SGL Cup 3, and again, we should be seeing a great lineup of players into the future as well. Game number 3, let's see how this is going to go. To the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player from #OnFire. It's going to be Bly. He's also from Expert Game, and I keep forgetting that he's actually got this new team. I do apologise to Expert for forgetting to mention them enough. So it's Bly to the bottom left, to the upper right. Our blue Terran player is a GuMiho. Gumi God. So, as we said in the game number 3, what is going to be happening? What do these players start to go for now? What do they change up into? what happens here. As we see the first Overlord starting to move towards the upper right-hand side of the map. But Bly just starting to scout out, starting to try and figure out what exactly is going on. Will we see that 3-minute lair from him for the third game in a row? He's not afraid to be aggressive game after game after game. We've seen that in the earlier series against Neeb, for example. So let's see if it's going to be similar here once more, as we're going to see a Reaper from GuMiho will move out onto the map and will start moving down towards the bottom left-hand side. So Reaper starts moving down towards the bottom left-hand side of the map here from GuMiho. Command Center is about halfway built. I'm just going to be seeing Reactor coming up on the barracks. Factory coming down as well from GuMiho. So Factory coming up, going to be finishing here very shortly. As that Reaper comes in towards the main base, gets one shot onto a drone. Actually, maybe could have chased that drone as he does blast away. And he actually will get killed there with target firing. Just gets it, picks up in time. Drops down to the low ground now and just being aggressive before these queens come out. And ooh, doesn't commit onto the drone. And Bly builds a spore crawl with an immediate cancel when he realizes that that Reaper is actually going to be moving away. Stop on the way from GuMiho once again. It's a Factory coming in, so no double rack stim drop play at all here from GuMiho. Playing with these Factory openings once again, this time with the reacted Hellions. He's got double gas up, so more likely to be something like a Cloak Banshee if he wants to go into a Banshee. Something like that, as we see the lair starts up from Bly once again. Absolutely no fear to do the same thing time after time after time. As we are going to be seeing those couple of Hellions moving out onto the map. The Reaper out here is going to get caught though, unless the Hellions can come in and save it. Actually will come in and save it. Reaper might still go down. It could have jumped down to the low ground there maybe, but it didn't. Either way, I mean, the Reaper doesn't add too much as the game continues into this sort of situation. As you see those couple of Hellions going to start moving down towards the bottom left hand side. They're going to run on in here and they're actually going to run by into the main base. So looking to see what damage you can get done with just a couple of Hellions. You'd be surprised how much a couple of Hellions can get done actually. As you see, oh, it's a nice catch though immediately from Bly. Still though, 3 workers killed and still some low health drones. Oh, that one regenerating just in time, so it survives on 1 HP. 3 workers for 1 Hellion so far is not so bad a trade. It's going to be 2 though, as the Speedlings will catch. And 2 more Hellions come across the map. A Liberate on the way up as well. Behind this, just Stimpack on the way from GuMiho. So he didn't put his starport onto a tech lab or anything. Just getting Stim up nice and early on. As the Hellions continue to dodge around, trying to escape those Zerglings. Only 2 Hellions. Not the best, but actually doing good damage. Bly not really controlling these Lings and looking to kind of surround a little bit better. And so he does lose a lot more Lings than maybe he should have there. He could have either disengaged or even just taken a better fight, I feel. Either way, he does have to back off. And actually, once again, the Hellions move forward. 5 Roaches on the way, but not here yet. No Queen even on this natural expansion. And Bly is going to be toasted in his mineral line. There's the Roaches now starting to pop out, but 6 workers. There's going to be a few more here. 7, and well, is that going to be it? Just the 7. As we see a Nidus network coming down, though obviously we saw that lair coming in. I neglected to mention it is a Nidus network, but that is what it's going to be, and I'm not sure if there's enough here right now for GuMiho to defend. He's got a Liberator, but that'll get taken down quickly by Queens. SCV surround that Nidus network as... oh, nothing comes out. Bly won't commit, so he's not going to commit to this. First CC from Bly, from GuMiho, sorry, currently building in location. Bly will go towards the natural expansion instead right now. So towards the natural he goes. He's got some Zinglings already running across the map actually. How many Queens in the Nidus? 4? That should get rid of the Liberator. It really should. Actually, there's 2 Liberators. Even so, I think he should be okay because it's a very sort of open area. As we're going to see here right now, GuMiho just sieges up his ramp. He's not messing around. SCVs will start to pull away. Bly will want to pick off as many of those as he can straight away here. As he begins to put the Nidus back in towards the main base. Remember those Niduses, they are expensive to keep on building. And so every time Bly builds one, he has to make sure it's going to be of use to him. And obviously the idea here is that he just want to get more worker damage done. The Liberators come up and, oh, he starts to come in out with just 1 unit. Then he decides to stop. He's got Lings going up the ramp. GuMiho is holding right now with the 3rd CC. Oh, it doesn't actually finish. 2 Lings go into position there on time to stop that from coming up. Look at this. Queens and Roaches will be able to pick away from a depot on the low ground. Although actually he doesn't have any high ground vision, which is obviously problematic if he wants to do something like that. Morphs in an Overseer, which I quite like, because that will give them it's something which shouldn't go down to the Liberators chasing it, and it will give them that high ground vision. Another Nidus in the top side into the main base, as we see a couple of Marauders working their way through a Queen there. And these Queens and Roaches will start to work their way through a part of that wall once again. Taking a little bit more damage. Liberators splitting themselves up a little bit. Queens will commit out here this time. Does he target down the Liberators in time? He's starting to do damage to one of them. It's going to get low. Does it fall? There's that Ravager as well that came out. I think across the battle went down, but look at that. Liberator surviving, and so Bly does not trade well here. GuMiho continues to defend. Yes, he's only on one base. But at the same time, Bly hasn't exactly got the best of situations for himself back at home, as we see a Hellion run by starting to hit, and, well, workers will start to go down. So not only is GuMiho taking some SCV damage, but Bly is taking some worker damage as well. So 8 workers killed, and into the main base we go. Roaches here now, though, so these Hellions will not get as much done any longer as they load up once again, and they're just going to back off over to the right side. Queen once more targeting down that medevac. Siege tank begins to build from GuMiho here. A couple of these bunkers going to be popping out once again. Hellions once again going to unload down on the third base. So third hatchery is once more going to be taking some damage, as we see a couple of creep tumors going to get taken down. So a couple of creep tumors getting taken down. Another one as well off to the right hand side. Good stuff by GuMiho. You see those roaches coming in. Hellions and taking some damage themselves there, as we'll see a little bit of a stim off to the left side as well. Maybe a scan, and there we do see a couple of tumors. They do fall. That tumor which is trying to spread to the left side gets taken down as well. So again, GuMiho pushing out. He's pushing in towards his natural expansion here now. As we see those two Liberators, the Siege Tank as well. They're all going to be joining up. They're all going to get ready for movement across the map, as we'll see Bly. Can he defend? Does he have enough? He's half the army supply of GuMiho right now. It does not bode well for him. It really doesn't look as though this is going to be going well for him at all. But let's not count him out. Not just yet, at least, as we see those Marines and Marauders. They're starting to move across the map. I mean, there's Liberators in this. Roach is starting to build up from Bly. That's the issue. I mean, not only is this Bly behind on supply, but he's behind on supply while building Roaches, which is, well, with such a supply inefficient unit, really. It's never a good thing. Queens will start to target down the Liberators. Here we go. Corrosive Bile comes down to help as well. But there's just too much bio here as GuMiho stims in. And this will be GuMiho's game. GuMiho and Neeb both going to take down Bly. Bly will go to an 0-2 scoreline. Still not impossible for him to move out this group if he beats Violet. And then one player goes 3-0 and kind of the players trade in a certain way. Then it is definitely possible for a 1-2 set of ties. And Bly, having taken a map in each of these games, puts himself into a pretty decent position if it does ever come down to map score. But he does have to beat Violet to make sure he get, that possibility is even a possibility here. So Marines and Marauders split away. Queen taking a little bit more damage. Obviously Bly just doesn't have enough here at all, and this Bioforce will just keep on committing. I mean, just kills off the natural expansion, sends a few Marines, their changelings, well, just kills off the natural. I mean, eventually he'll just clean up absolutely everything. GuMiho will take game number 3 and the second series here today. Again, up next, Violet Bly, before we go into GuMiho versus Neeb, Violet versus Neeb, and then GuMiho versus Violet will be our final match of the day today. Ravager gets taken down, a couple more Roaches fall as well, and that Roach up on the high ground, a drone 2, also falling. GG from Bly. GuMiho is going to be taking down Bly here, and he's going to be taking game number 3 of this series, and he'll advance on through into